Just gotta get a bit uncomfortable. Today's a great day to be great and to make tomorrow better than yesterday. Bobby Boucher, did you drink your water, boy?
Mr. Bush. Yes, sir. Yes,
Bobby
sir.
Boucher.
Us to lead a better way.
Yes, sir.
One, two, great. One, two.
Hold on. There we go. There we go. What you think about that, Mr. Bush?
Hey, look, I like the vibe of it as well. But man, they have you laugh when it says Bobby Boucher though.
Man, I got to tell you how proud that song makes me every time I hear it. Some of the people that follow me may know, and you know this. I have a son that I had when we were in school, and so
Yeah.
that's actually him on that song. He wrote it, produced it, and put it all together. And
Wow.
so I actually about 3 years ago, when I was working on Once Integration, I messaged him from the gym one morning. I said, "We're gonna need a jingle. We're gonna need a song."
Yeah. Yeah.
And within 5 minutes, he sent me back those lyrics and asked me what I
Wow.
thought. And I was like, "Man, that's special." And so
Yeah.
about a week later, he sent me back over that song, and it's very, very fitting. But let's let's explain to people what this is. First off, thank you for joining. This is At Home on the Yard, which is both a platform and a podcast, and it's also a space that's featured inside of the Once Integration Respocial media community. And so today is a special day. This is MLK 2024 day.
Yeah.
And today we're joined by James Bush. So I'm gonna pause and James, I would like for you to, you're fifth guy. We're on the fifth set, but for those who are not fifth guys, they don't know you. I'd like for you to share who you are and kind of what you're driven by.
My name is James Bush. I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Tennessee, Kentucky, Arizona, and other states coming soon. I am one half of Let's Have MANversation, where we decide to converse with focus. So our mission is to initiate meaningful conversations against the challenges that many individuals face within the United States, the continental United States, that is, and not just to talk about it, but to also take action and to have those hard discussions, which are so needed in our society today. We don't hide, we don't sugarcoat, but in fact, we just put it right in your face, and we see where we come in the end.
And I told you this. We did not plan. So for all of you out there, we did not plan to have this conversation today. We just planned to chat, and things got to rolling. And James almost dared me to fire it up and let it roll. He said that it's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I don't have a problem being authentic. I have a problem being unauthentic. Uh, I tried that. It didn't work. My body broke. And so and so I said, let's light it up. So before we get started, what I do want to do is I want to give you your flowers. I've watched you for years. We were there on the yard together.
Yeah.
And over the last probably 4 or 5 years, I don't know if it was the algorithm or if it was just meant to be. I saw you start to take this path where you were starting to live out loud and in the light. And it was in a much needed area. When you say
Yeah.
MANversations, one of the reasons why we build Once Integration and Respocial media is because we want to be able to provide access to people like you to the people that actually need it. And when I find myself in challenging situations, your platform is probably one of the only that I can think of. And it's been 15 minutes now that I said this the first time, where men, it's not sugarcoating or hiding or placing men's needs or challenges behind the veil of something.
No.
There's no need to be tough. And so tell me why. Well, first, before I say that, 2 times that I can recall, you have reached out just to check and see how I was doing. And I appreciate that. I want to say thank you for that, because there's a lot of people who care about me that I haven't heard from. And so thank you for that. So I'm gonna pause there. I want to know what drove you there, and I want to know why you thought to reach out and check on me.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, as a clinician, man, it's a responsibility that once you're empowered with certain information, you have a responsibility and due diligence, man, to carry that out too. I just don't turn off my clinical hat, man, once I see my last client. It's certain keywords that I'm hearing from my comrades, my colleagues, my friends, my loved ones, or so. It's like my ears perk up like a Doberman pincher, and it's like, whoa, 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 you know. It doesn't take nothing, man, just to check on somebody, just to
Yeah.
send an email, just send a text message, a phone call, or so. It's like, are you good? Are you
Yeah.
all right? Well,
Yeah.
whether it's a brother or it's a female or so like that. But what I've noticed is a lot of times, ladies get that call a lot quicker, a lot sooner. Guys, we are left to fend for ourselves. Be tough, be strong, soldier on through it, man. You got this, man, stop, man, punking out, man, all that other kind of stuff. And that's not cool because we have our own individual battles and challenges that we are going through in this society now that are beginning to be unearthed.
Yeah.
More focus is beginning to on light is beginning to be shined upon it. But we have to do the work right now. So that's my thing. As far as the mission or such, I got like a lot of times it heightened when I was as a therapist. I would see a lot of guys who would reach out to me and just, uh, man, I'm suffering over here. I'm about to do the most, or and it's crazy because a lot of what you're taught as a child about manhood, about what you're supposed to do, I have the statement. A lot of times you spend time unlearning what you learned as an adolescent. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we had to go to a place where it says, you know what, that's not effective. That doesn't work. You know, it's a famous statement. I mean, well, he just got fired not the other day, Bill Belichick, but it says, if you wait till halftime to start making the adjustments, you've already lost the game. So now we have to do better. We have to be more intentional about having these conversations slash manversation with our fellow brothers so that they can have the aid, the help they need, so they can live on purpose, in purpose, and that they can be the individual that they're supposed to be on this earth.
You know, I I like the way you said I'm about to do the most. Um, I coined myself Mr. Do Way Too Much
Mm-hmm.
because I kept hearing, Jeff, you got to simplify. You got to stop this. You can't do that. I mean, even my therapist, who I wouldn't trade in the world, I've been bi-weekly since 2015.
Yeah.
She told me, she said, Jeff, I need less Tech P. I need more Jeff. And I was like, it hurts to be Jeff. It's painful to be Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest, I didn't know who Tech P was. And then I
Mm-hmm.
learned that Tech P was just a disassociated self and coping mechanism for me to be able to go and manifest
Mm-hmm.
this dream that I had to address these issues that plagued Jeffrey, me, over the years. You know, one of the things that used to bother me, but now I found comical is, and I mentioned it in our previous conversation, is the silence of not getting anyone that responds or checks in. You know, I'm running around with wings and fire on and creating art,
Mm-hmm.
and I just couldn't imagine not being able to do that because that's the way that I have found healing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I wasn't always as aware of the meaning behind it. What would you say about people in need that turn to social media and the challenges of finding help on social media?
It's a minefield because one, you're looking for individuals who can speak into your life that are trained and that are effective. And those two things are in them of themselves sometimes not present. And I'm gonna explain that. Just because a person went and got their license, they matriculated through a grad program, got their license or whatnot, they've hung their shingle or whatever have not, does not mean they're the right fit for you. And
Mm,
because they're not the right fit for you, you begin to become frustrated because the problem that you're suffering from is still there and you're looking for relief. And so when there is a lack of relief and there are a lack of resources in your area, what the hell do? You know, you may turn to some other form of relief or medication to give you that peace that you need in that moment.
If you're lucky.
Nevertheless,
Yeah.
society teaches you and implores you that, you know what, you should be able to take this. You should be able to handle this. You're a man. You know, you should not have to go and sit and talk to anyone like that. You should not, you know, your grandfather didn't do it, your father didn't do it, or whatnot. Well, if you knew your father or you knew your grandfather. And so you are supposed to be able to handle all of these societal woes.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and have another individual to talk to about these items or whatnot. So you wear this stress, you wear this strain. And guess what? It is almost as a self fulfilling, not self fulfilling, but a prophetic outcome that, yeah, okay, you will pretty much transition or expire early because of the amount of stress and cortisol that you pumped in your body because, man, you're just so worn out.
You
It's
know,
very unfortunate.
I this is one of the challenges that I look to address with the once integration community. Um, we trademarked the term Respocial because I was driving down the road and I saw in my mind and I heard responsible social. Those two things don't necessarily go together. And we got to change that. You know, there's
Mhm.
no responsibility, there's very limited responsibility inside of the internet. You know, you think about the algorithm that has no name and it has no face, but it's spoken about like it's a person. You
Mhm.
have people that blame things. You have companies, tech companies, large institutions that blame or suggest that the algorithm is responsible for something. And you know me, I'm a technologist. You know, I'm tech P, and I'm like, what do you mean? Somebody would change that algorithm if it started to lose you guys some money. And so that
True.
means that the algorithm is fine tuned, not just tuned, but fine tuned to accomplish the goals that they put in place. And then you pair that with the lack of character and integrity that we see, for example, in telling the population of these social media platforms that we need your 14.99 so that we can let people know that you are who you are, when your bank doesn't require you to have 14.99. Or Netflix is at the same time saying we got a new plan and a new subscription for you password sharers. So how does Netflix know that you're sharing passwords, but the other social media platforms don't know who you are? Well, as a technologist, I would say they know your IP address. They could tell you whether or not I'm on which one of these devices I'm on. That's how much they know. They
Wow.
know whether or not I'm at home. They know whether or not I'm in Indonesia. They know.
Wow.
They know. And so you don't need my 14.99. You want to take advantage of people. So I always want to make sure that I share that in when I'm speaking, because that's the Respocial thing to do. So
Mhm.
I want to ask you this question because you said something that really, when you sent me the message yesterday and said, checking in, are you good? It did make my eyes water, to be honest, because I was like, man, somebody sees me. And I don't necessarily need for anybody to see me, but it does
Mhm.
feel good to be seen. I
Yeah.
cannot I cannot say that that's not the case. Then we kind of exchange. You said, hey, the MANversation tour is coming up. This is what's going well. And then I said,
Yeah.
yeah, once integration community is taking and getting legs and is going the right direction. You said in response, I had no doubt. Why was there no doubt? What is it about what you see with what we're doing with once integration that makes you feel that way?
There was something that I stumbled upon maybe in the last couple of days when it talked about connectivity, connection. It's a research fact that people who stay connected to other individuals tend to live longer and tend to have a better quality of life. It's research. I didn't make this up. You can go and do your Google search or whatever platform you utilize now, and you can find that. And so in a world right now where we're hearing so much about divisiveness. I can do this all by myself. I'm this. Huh? No. We need each other. The creator didn't give me everything. I need other individuals. I need you. I need my family. I need folks. I can't do it all by myself. You need that other individual that has that missing piece, that part, that puzzle. Sometimes to tell you something, that man is affirming. Sometimes to get in your business and say, hey, look, man, you're doing too much. You off today, man.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah.
And it's all in love, though.
Yeah.
So knowing that and seeing what you are doing, not what you are attempting to do, what you're doing.
Yeah.
I have no doubt it's going to be successful. I have no doubt that because you're bringing people together as opposed to being so divisive.
You know, and thanks for the comment, Bob. I I was given this vision, and it was first called the Brotherhood app, by the development team that I started to work with. And as I started to move down the path, it first started out with just addressing the issues that we were facing in society around not being treated fairly, just in general. And then I started to experience these things that led to me being diagnosed with PTSD. And I said, you know, let's just go ahead and add this to the equation. And I didn't necessarily know how it would go or what the final thing would look like. I just knew that I was very talented, I was very gifted, and I had a set of experiences in that. This is what I was being led to do. And I also understood that in the scriptures, it says, lean not into your own understanding.
Right.
And so because of that, I started to walk this path, and then it started to come to me. And what I started to notice was that silence, I had two choices. It was either to think that the world was dark and bad and no one cared about Jeff, or that there was a healthy amount of intimidation by the corporate systems that oppress, that made people feel like to come into the light and support Jeff, who was struggling with whatever he was struggling with, may have had a negative repercussion on them. And I think that was what led me to conclude that was there were people that actually sat there and watched Dominic harassment just go off and just yell at me for those 3 minutes or whatever, however long it was. And those people, a couple of them called me afterward, and they spoke about and said to me, I hope you never have to go through anything like that ever again.
Wow.
But those same people didn't go and report it to HR. They didn't do any of those things that their yearly compliance said that they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the reason being perhaps maybe is because they see darkness prevail too often. And so connectivity, the word that you use, connectivity, the word that I use is community. True community, where when you need help, before you get to any place, I would like for not only the community to be there, but the technology to be there to support you, to curate a set of resources to help you thrive. And so, you know, I think this is a divine partnership and engagement. I see what you're doing, and I also understand the value that together, like you said, we can actually go out and do more. It says where two or more are gathered, we're stronger. And so, community, connectedness. I want to turn the tables a bit. And I want to, because you have your own platform and podcast as well. I envision us doing this much more often. I want to turn over and throw to you and allow you to tee up some questions and drive the conversation as well.
Okay. So, I mean, what am I introducing right now?
Say it again.
What am I introducing right now? Where you want to start at? Because we can go all over the place with this one.
Well, what you told me was that you have no problem just getting in and flowing. And
Oh,
so
definitely. Okay.
let's just flow.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In wow, I love this. All right. So in your time of the different experiences that you have been through over the past some odd years, what has been the biggest lesson that you've gained from it?
That's easy.
Mhm.
For me, the biggest lesson is we must be our own validation.
Mm.
We must be our own validation. And the reason why that's important is because some people will say, "Oh, you don't listen," or you don't allow anybody to help you, or any of that. The good Reverend Dr. Omarion Lee is calling. Let me answer him. He might be trying to chime in. What's going on, good brother? Man, me and James Bush are having a podcast right now. We at home on the yard. You want to join? I, hey, I'm gonna answer this. I'm gonna answer this question, and then I'm gonna figure out. Text me your email address, and then I'll send that over to you.
Oh man.
All right, cool. All right, after this question, give me 3 minutes. Yeah, wonderful. Uh,
Oh
yeah,
my
we must
God.
be our own validation, and so the reason why is because we are all products of our subconsciousness and our auto suggestion.
Mhm.
And so people will champion and believe that perception is reality. Perception is reality. Perception is reality. I'm calling bullshit.
Mhm.
Perception is your perception is your reality. It didn't have anything to do with my reality.
Right.
And so your perception is shaped off of whatever you fed your subconsciousness, and then auto suggestion is going to do its job. So
Mm.
that's why it is important for you to choose what you are going to mentally digest, listen to, and all of those things. And so,
Mhm.
however you perceive me has more to do with what you have done with your subconsciousness than it does me.
Mhm.
And so, with that being said, I had to learn that the hard way. For years and years and years in my professional career, I was called arrogant or cocky or whatever. And I knew that I only had a heart to help.
Mhm.
And I would go around and I would, seek therapy and all of these things to address these things that people were saying to me.
Mhm.
And finally, after I said, man, I have done everything that I could possibly do, and I know that I'm moving in love, it finally dawned on me, um, that I my own validation for me was enough.
That's it.
So that's how I would answer that question. So let's pause right there. Let's figure out a way to get the good brother Reverend Dr. Omarion Lee in here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
This
yes,
guy.
yes. MLK
Oh,
Day. I love it.
MLK. Wow, I love it. This was up, man. This was up. Definitely.
Hey, this is the beginning of something special, man. And I
Yes,
told
sir.
you, I shared with you, well, before we jumped on screen, that today it started off, feeling very heavy to me.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that when I do this work, there's no better feeling for me. I don't have
Definitely.
any triggers. My eyes don't twitch, and I don't have headaches and all the rest of those things
Oh,
that
it's a
I
blessing.
have when I try other things.
That's what
Holy, hold on real
it's
quick.
a blessing.
Yeah, it is, man. You are a blessing, man. Thank you.
Man, I'm blessed by the man the most high. I mean, that's the best way that I can describe it. You know.
And I as well. I as well, man. I would not be here, man. A lot of times I tell people, man, I believe and I know that he's actually carrying me.
Mhm.
He's actually carrying me, because you not 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 too many mere men decide to uh to to stare a billionaire in the face.
Why not? Why not? He's a
So
man just
many
like you
people,
are.
so many people told me I was crazy. They told me, "Hey, look,
Uh,
you can't do that." You know what? One person at that job actually said to me, what do you expect for Mike, the CEO, to do? And I'm like, I expect for him to do exactly what the code of conduct says.
Right.
And if that can't be done, then we gotta both go live in the light on that one.
Yeah.
And so hold on real quick. Let me make sure I sent it, but it bounced back. Let's see here. Forward. And let me know. I mean, we're flowing. I don't know if you got
Hey, nah, I'm
a
good. I
hard
mean,
stop.
Definitely not. I'm good, my brother. Man, like I said, on my Sundays, I've done a better job of this 2024 with me and my sister. She preaches. Shout out to Susie Strickland of James. You got to take better care of yourself. Because a lot of times when you're so excited, when you're passionate, you want to go. You're hungry. You want to go at it, man. It's like nonstop, fall to the wall. But the fact is that you have to have some type of respite. You have to have some type of decompression to where you just, man, let it all just, man, ooze out for a moment. And so Sundays and Mondays are generally, I don't talk to no clients or anything along those lines. I'm on my phone playing Monopoly or playing Tetris. Yeah, I
On
play them
Sunday and Monday.
Sunday and Monday, just like barbers, and then the rest of the week, man, we at it because I'm passionate about what I do. I like talking to individuals about their unique situations and whatnot. I'm a student of life. I'm a student of humans. And one of the things I've learned is that we definitely are not all monoliths. It's so easy for many people to fall into the category of, well, men do this, and well, a real man is this, or a real woman is this. And I just, man, it's like nails on a chalkboard when someone says that because it's just so irritating. We
Yeah.
all come from different backgrounds, experiences, cultural
Yeah.
belief patterns, and systems. And so, no, we're not all going to think the same. Guess what? Our biology is not all the same. Yes, we have heart and lungs, and we have kidneys and livers and things along those lines, but some people are genetically predisposed to certain stimuli and certain conditions that others are not. So, my point with all of that being is that, man, learn the individual that is among you and
Man.
work with him for who they are.
Wow. Wow. I I'm multitasking, but I'm listening at the same time. You said something earlier, and you were talking about athletes
Mm-hmm.
and the preparation that they take to be able to compete at the
Yes.
highest level.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me in your own words, as it relates to people who are not athletes,
Mm-hmm.
how would one start to approach giving themselves the best competitive advantage just in everyday life?
Oh man, dude. So look, so people that are not athletes, I know that many that are not athletes, but some of them potentially were athletes at some point in time, especially maybe in pee wee football or little league baseball or whatever have not. We had those things called game tape, footage of you at your highest and lowest moments at times. And so, I mean, whether it's you're lined up offsides every play of the second quarter, or whether, man, your swing is just so horrid, man, that it would make Mom Mabel look like Hank Babe Ruth. So, my point being in all of this is that being able to be honest with yourself about where you are, that's where the self awareness begins. Many of us are not self aware. Many of us are not emotionally intelligent. The thing is, we don't know where our beginning or our end is. We don't know how do we present to other people because sometimes other people may see you as a monster. They may see you as standoffish. They may see you as a threat. And we are just totally aloof to that. But being self aware, having that emotional intelligence, doing the work is what I call it, it is so rewarding. It's so freeing because now it all begins to make sense. It starts to kind of clarify the murky cloud begins to clarify for you in those moments. Oh my goodness, I've got, man, this scoundrel down below right here, Mr. Oh my goodness, gracious of life, man.
What's going on, brothers?
What's
Happy,
going on, my man?
Happy King Day.
Happy King Day.
Yeah, man. Part of my background, I'm trying to find me a place of solitude here at the house, and the best place to find that to have a cigar is in the garage. So
Oh, there you go.
You know,
Hey, you
that
guys have got what 7 to 10 inches of snow in the last 24 hours.
yeah, here
Yeah.
y'all snowed in down there too, right?
Well, we did receive some snow, but
Uh-huh.
ironically, we usually receive something that's more like a wintry mix of snow and ice together with some precipitation that turns into, like I said, a wintry mix is what they
Okay.
call it here.
Okay.
We got maybe a half or a quarter of an inch of powdery wonderfulness that I saw people blowing it off with a blower.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We're
Y'all
good.
back to reality tomorrow.
My son came down early and he said, "Are we going to have school tomorrow?" I said, "I am anticipating so." So
Yeah.
I would agree. Now it's still going to be really really cold,
Yeah.
but that's it's January, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
in North Texas. So just to catch you up, Mr. Bush and I had some time. He reached out to me yesterday. I was making a post about the Lincoln University situation and the unfortunate circumstance, and I was attempting to tie in that these types of things happen, and integration and Respocial services. Um, I didn't want to make it too much of a commercial. I just wanted to say, hey, look, we're here if you need help. Also, here's a suicide hotline. Just that's the responsible thing to do. And in that post, I left it at that. And just like 2 minutes later, I got a DM. It's probably what 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And it was James, and he was saying, "Hey, bro, you good?" And I appreciated that. We got to chatting back and forth, and we decided to, hey, let's schedule some time. We had been talking earlier, probably 3 or 4 months ago, and we jumped on. We started talking. There was so much synergy. We started talking about the future, and we was like, hey, look, it's MLK Day. I got this set at home on the yard. Let's jump out on the yard. So for you to join us, this is like for me the manifestation of what I intended to have with this particular vignette, as I call it. Like right now, I can't be on the yard with my guys. Through this vehicle, we can. And so, and not only that, we can invite just like who just FaceTime me like he normally does. And here we are. We're all here on the set. So I'll say for you what I've said about James throughout my journey to get to this place, and through all of the challenges that I've had to endure and the tribulations. The good Reverend Doctor Omari and Leo, we just call him O, has always been there to give me that check-in. At times when I didn't even know if I was all the way okay. And I would trust his professional ear. I would trust his spiritual connection, and listen to what his assessment was after listening to me for 15 to 20 minutes. And most times he would say, Jeff, you're okay. You're good. And I remember one time he corrected me and he said, where you're wrong at, Jeff, is that you're not who you used to be.
Exactly.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to take that back to my therapist, because she told me that I need to be Jeff. And the new Jeff, his name is Tech Pete. And he feels more like the guy that y'all had on the yard, we had on the yard, than this Jeff that I was just a year ago, who's broken and dealing with headaches and all the rest of that. I feel like 1998, I feel like I'm on the yard right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you, the good Reverend Dr. Lee, for always being there. So I just wanted to say that it's MLK Day. We're just flowing. Toss a question out, man. What you got?
Well, brothers, first, I don't have any question, but I can't really pull anything in other than I just wanted to tap in with my brother and just check on him today, because really being intentional, and I appreciate what you said, Jeff. You know, a lot of times And James, I don't know if you get this, but I know Jeff does too, man. We say things, and I not to be a prophet, but when things are said in a prophetic way, it's there for that time and space in that moment. It's not for me to remember to hold on to, but for me to release and to give and to bless with. And so I appreciate those words that resonate with you in those opportunities, man. I appreciate you bringing them back because a lot of times, man, as Christ once said, prophet's not respected in his hometown. So the fact that it is resonating somewhere and that somebody is receiving it always helps to refill my cup, and I think that's what we miss a lot of, when we are servant leaders and we are those that are doing the heavy lifting. We're often pouring out and becoming empty. Um, I'll say this: one of my last acts in leaving Nashville General, before I moved into the next venture in life, was to bless the hands of the caregivers that are there. And man, we were blessed to be able to bless about 50 persons, along with the CEO of the hospital, and to encourage them with the Holy Spirit that in the work that they're doing, they know that they're not doing it by themselves, but when they may feel empty, that the Spirit of God will come over them and refill and replenish them. And so I'm just trying to let my hands, my feet, my mouth, my mind, ears, and words be that today because of our tough conversations and our private conversations that we've had, Jeff, and just was checking in on my brother. That's all I was doing, man. And here we are sitting on the yard under the tree of knowledge, just chopping it up together. And let me tell you something. You got James Bush locked in. The man got so many things he's doing. I don't even know how you got him locked down for the day. Y'all probably scheduled this back in November for him to be sitting here with you today, man. So
Man,
this is truly a
it's a
blessing.
blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. And I'll tell you, it's a blessing to have you here as well. I mean, oh, you've joined. I mean, our Juneteenth, the last 3 years. You've been on various things that we've done. So you're right. It is to have James here. I don't anticipate us having any challenges as long as we schedule things in accordance with his schedule.
Yeah, we're good.
He jumped into the Once Integration community yesterday and finished his checklist in record time. And so um, the vision is there, the connectedness is there. And I, before you jumped on, I asked him, kind of why he believed in the vision and the platform, and he used the word connectedness and I used the word community, and we're both saying the same things. And he talked about his purpose is stronger when unified with others that are moving in their purpose and their synergies and things, that gaps that we feel for one another. And that's very on par with what I was given when I was given this mission. I'm the technology platform guy. I provide the technology strategy and a little bit more than that, but I'm not a therapist. I do realize the role that therapy and mental health practitioners play, and the gap that exists today as it relates to our overall well-being. And so that's why we have those Respocial services. If you go and you look at Dr. Joy DeGrew's work, and she talks about PTSS and the impact of those layers of trauma from generation to generation, that we're just scratching the surface on having to go address that. And so we need technology, and we need what I call Respocial providers, that we are able to, just through this platform, James can build a staff and a team to continue to grow. We can be able to curate that staff and that knowledge and competence on a plate for the person who actually needs it. Oh, you got a whole litany of services as well. This is to me, like I said, this is a blessing in a dream. This moment, seeing this, it's only up from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think
Go ahead.
to kind of what you were saying and where I was going with it, I think I would add covering as being the word with the connected and the community. It's It's covering.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know that there's a safe place. Once
Mm-hmm.
you connect,
Mm-hmm.
and as you form community, you got to know that you're covered. You got a place that you can that where you can go, and that you're not judged, but you're giving room to be you. You're giving room to learn. You're giving room to express your hurt, and also to celebrate your joys and your losses. You know, and that's what covering does. You know, y'all think about it. When we were living in New Live, you know, the dorm director and the RAs provided us with so much covering, man, in our community where we were connected, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
able to make mistakes that, and it makes me think about, you know, people talk about what is the need of HBCU and everything, right? It is a place that where a young man or young woman can make mistakes and still be in family and in community, man, and they can be corrected, and not overcorrected. They can receive and be held accountable
Mm-hmm.
and learn and grow because you know and there's nothing wrong. I won't say there's anything wrong with PWIs. Um, that you know all institutions of higher learning have their value and their place, but for us who need a homegrown environment, man, and the opportunity to spread our wings, but then where we get to make a mistake and get an opportunity that doesn't require any kind of punitive damage or anything like that, but we can have a reset and still be loved, still be part of the community, and turn around and you see, I mean, how many of our classmates, how many of our colleagues are doing amazing things that, you know, and I get it all the time. I think James started out saying when I came out, I said, "What you doing letting this scoundrel come on in?" And people don't know that's a team term of endearment, truly, you know. But 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 but
Yeah.
when you
I
know
got it.
people, you know, and you know where they come from and what they've been and who they are, and when you're fighting against or pushing against being something different, you only get that from a place that where you have a platform where you have connectivity,
Uh-huh.
you have community, you have
Uh-huh.
covering, you know,
Yeah.
and I think One Integration is a great platform that offers that and will create that space for us. It's just we have to find a way that how we really champion it in everything, you know, and we got to get. I think Jeff, um, we've got to get more ambassadors that can that can speak and translate the tech language to lay language. You know, like so like for me in the church, I have the hardest time translating theology to layman understanding. You know, everybody expects for me to talk about giving and tithing. Everybody expects for me to talk about coming to church on Sunday and praying and reading your Bible, right? But that intermediary that happens with when you have some persons that are lay leaders, when the choir director or when the chair of the usher board or just when that young man or young woman who you know is still out getting it at night and working in the clubs, but yet they're at church on Sunday and they're engaging and they can talk about their walk with Christ from a real space. That's what we really got to have. I think that's what's going to push One Direction to the next place, man. And brother, we can talk about that offline, you know, because I've been having some thoughts about it because I get the platform, but I don't. I'm not as confident to promote the platform as well, other than just the folks that follow me for the little bit that I put out there, right? You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanna just say real quick on that. You're absolutely right. James and I also talked earlier, and I was talking technology and kind of making it, I guess, in like you said, in just regular words to show people how there's a lack of integrity and there's some misleading going on. For example, the example that I used was when the social media platform says they need you to pay to prove who you are. Um, that's nowhere near true. And so I do realize that's my calling, but I also agree that there's so much more to it than that. I don't know that I've solved it at this point. I think the way that we approach this is by welcoming others in that are doers,
Mm-hmm.
and we're already doing, and we at One Integration in the community doesn't require you to do anything but do what you do. Almost like I would highlight and say that the G in the middle of One Integration is capitalized for a reason. And it's built with that. In my mind, I said, what would it look like if God had technology to harness his spirit? And that's One Integration. So I don't have all the answers, and I need you guys that are here with me, and I need those that are listening. We need each other to come in and do what we do, moving our purpose. James, what are your thoughts?
It's a piece of the puzzle, bro. I mean, and so, do I understand the business side of it? Yes, I do. I mean, but one thing I will say is that one could put 1,000 to flight, two could put 10,000 to flight. You know, we all piece of the body. And so the thing is, when we are acting and working within our giftings or such, we will see the growth that was needed to see at that appointed time. But the thing is that first and foremost, the individuals, the pieces of the body have to begin to peak on their own level. They have to get within their own position to where they're supposed to be. A lot of us are not in position. A lot of us do not know, as we were talking earlier, we don't know who we are. You know, we've gone so far as what society tells us we are supposed to be, what sometimes culture says we are, but we haven't taken that deep dive. You know, we are sometimes afraid to be great. I'll say that. We're afraid to live on purpose, live in purpose on purpose. And unfortunately, we've missed the mark because we are wasting away in position and jobs and settings that no longer haven't suited us for the last 2 decades or whatever have not. So my thing is that as you begin to be who you are and work the work and utilize the ideas and the technology and everything that comes along that, the people will come. It's just that you got to make sure that you're in space. That one, you're taking care of yourself. Also, two, you're nurturing your giftings, whatever that is that what tech guys do, however that may appear, and it will work because guess what? I was able to, by divine connection or whatnot, say like, boom, stumble upon it, and it's like, oh, what's up? That's just okay, man. I didn't know that. Okay, cool, man. It was you already had everything. The bugs had been worked out. I didn't have to go and just say, man, it froze on me again. Or, man, I can't input this keyword or whatever have not. Or, man, it's not uploading my picture or anything. Everything worked at that point when it was supposed to. So that's what it's about, man. It's about you refining. Again, like we talked about earlier, Kaizen, continuous improvement. When we continuously improve on the model that has been given to us, man, there's nothing but success left for us in the end. But when we just decide to just sit back and just say, you know what, I think I've just done all I can do at this point. This ain't working for me. I think I want to try something else. I'm ready to be comfortable, as we were talking about earlier. Then what?
Yeah. I'll say this, especially so fitting on today. A lot of my life I live and think about how inspired I am from Dr. King. And I wrote something the other day, and I was talking about the "I have a dream," and everybody knows that phrase. One of the things I don't see is any modernization of the tool set to be able to go out and deliver change and contribute towards change. And so, with that understanding, I view our role, because if he spoke it into the world, that means that it's got to come. That's the power of words. And so, with that being said, if MLK had these tools that we have, do we think he could have got the job done? I think so. I think so, because the challenge that I see is people do things and they don't have the opportunity. There's an unequal amount of accountability and exposure to if they did it right or if they were a little bit irresponsible in what they done. And so, for example, that was the point I was making with the post about Lincoln University. How is it that this is plastered all over the news. However, in hell, they can have an employee blow their brains out in the parking lot and you don't hear anything. They've got 100,000+ employees. We didn't hear a word.
Huh.
So because
Wow.
of that, what I'm here to say is it's our responsibility to deliver the dream.
I see that.
It's our responsibility, and we gotta welcome everybody that wants to come and participate, because for so long we have allowed for words to confuse us with whether or not people were actually participating or not. Now we need to be able to see how you move. We need to see you come over here and join us. If you ain't here, why not? Let me invite you. You know, as they say, I told you a lot of this. You know, I at one point I thought about whether or not I was supposed to be a pastor or a preacher, and I was like, no, I think I'm supposed to use some of those same principles. So, won't you come? Won't you come? The doors of Ontegration are open. Won't you come? Why not?
Right.
Everybody grab somebody. Everybody show up with somebody. We're going to have physical spaces and community as well, because it's important for people to come and press flesh. So when you start to go ahead,
I'm going to say no. Finish your thought.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say when you think about, for me, and this is Jeff, the CEO and founder of Ontegration, when I think about the competitive advantage we have when we start talking about let's drive some responsibility into social media. They are all multi-billion-dollar companies that cannot afford to allow Ontegration to eat their lunch. And what I'm here to tell you right now is they have taken advantage of people with these algorithms. And today, people are lost and feeling more depressed, anxious than ever because of the algorithm. And so over in Ontegration, as you all know, it's whatever you choose. We don't have an algorithm. We focus on your rhythm. Your feed is what you choose. And so because of that, we have a basic plan. We have a free, a basic, which is free. And then we have 2 tiers above that, depending upon the reason why you join. There's the Respocial reason. So if you want to go and make sure that your well-being is there, you got the right resources, so that if you're having issues in the workplace, you have a third party to help guide you. We have those types of resources. That's one plan. If you need access to be able to curate and introduce you to a James Bush or a Reverend Dr. Lee, so that you could have the right guidance and coaching and mental health resources, we have that. And then from a consulting standpoint, if you need websites, you need funnels, you need marketing development, you need AI, you got all of those things. Well, we have our diverse perspective plan to be able to give you those types of resources. So there's been a good amount of thought put into it, and it wasn't always ready, but it is now.
That's what's up.
Oh, what you got, man? You were saying something?
Yeah. What I wanted to say and what I wanted to share is that to encourage you in the space of that, God's calling is on each and every one of our lives. Those of us that profess to be believers in God and that walk with the Most High, and whatever spiritual realm that is, you believe that there's something that's greater than you, right? You got to understand that means there is a calling for you. It could be to be a therapist. It could be to be a tech guru. It could be to be a maintenance person, a doctor, a lawyer, or to be going to the pastor, into the ministry, or something, whatever. Calling, we have tried to box it in to just being about religion and theology. God doesn't just talk to preachers.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
He sure does it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if he did, then there wouldn't be a need for anybody else. If you needed open heart surgery, you just call the pastor, right? But no,
Right.
Yeah.
he has well-trained surgeons who operate at him or her, because I want to make sure that I don't want anybody to feel like I'm disrespecting God or that the way in which they see God, you know.
Yeah.
That he has that are the agents of God's control. And the way in which that you glean into that is that you wake up and you start your day, and your every operable moment is with God leading those things that you do. You know, and so the fact that you've designed this platform, you've designed it. I mean, you said it already. There's no mistaking why the G is capitalized, right? You've designed this within the place that this is where God dwells, right? And so you're living out your
Amen.
calling, okay? You don't have to try to exegete scripture. It's not for you to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of schooling that goes into that. You know, it's a lot of energy that you don't need to sit down on the couch with people and to help them to think through that. There's a lot of schooling that goes into that. The
Yeah.
same as to develop what you have developed, it took a lot of schooling, but that was God leading you in the direction to get that training because you heard the voice of God say to you, this is what I want you to do. And your passion that comes from that is the Spirit of God that's thrusting you forward, right? So I want to encourage you and anybody that's listening on the sound of my voice that what you're doing and what you're passionate about doing, that is it is about the edification of people and giving God the glory, then you're walking in your call and in your purpose. Back to like what James was saying, like, man, we don't know who we are, where we are, whatever. And that's a great question before you try to sit down and figure out how much money you're gonna make, what kind of house you want, what kind of spouse you want. Sit down and write down the question, who am I? And work just, it might take it. Matter of fact, once you figure it out, I guarantee you it will have morphed into something that you'll need to sit down and ask again because we're ever evolving, right? So, I mean, I just want to encourage you, Jeff, that what you're doing and that the way that you're living out your calling is absolutely in step with what God's calling is on your life. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We're approaching an hour, and I do want to have an off the screen conversation with my brother O. And I don't want to take too much more of Bush's time because he's got to be able to do the things that that give him balance. The one thing I will say, and Bush, the technology is failing you at the moment. You see it sideways.
I'm trying. Hey,
it's this sideways.
See it sideways. I'm like, wait. Like, what happened right there? Okay.
Yeah.
What happened right there?
Turn it again.
Turn it again.
You just went and got sit.
Hold on, right there. I'm right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened right there. That was funny though, man.
Hey, listen. Before we jump, I gotta say, the warm and genial setting sun lights up the hills with mellow hue, where Fisk, our alma mater, stands, majestic, dear old gold and blue. Then hurrah and hurrah for the gold and the blue. Her sons, you, and you. Her sons are steadfast, her daughters true. Where'er we be, we shall still love thee. Fisk, our alma mater. I cannot let it pass that three brothers that all laid their head in New Livingston Hall. Fisk University.
Yeah.
This is who we are. Congratulations to both of you guys. Bravo. Great work. I could go on and on. The reality of it is we're just getting started. We're just getting started. So with that, what I'll say to everyone that tuned in, this is by far been the most engaging, successful at home on the yard. So if you guys want to have conversations on this space, this is not just for Jeff, James, and Omari. And I don't even have to be on the screen. If there are other people who want to have conversations and show who we are as Fiskites, this is for us. And so I put it up a moment ago. You can find and join Ontegration, www.ontegration.com. Omari and James, if you guys could tell people where they can find you at, and then we'll wrap from there.
Go ahead, O.
Okay. Well, absolutely. You can find me in the social media spaces on Facebook under Omarian.Lee on Facebook, and then and Instagram. You know, I'm real old school. I'm hard with these handles, but you can find me at p.4.5pastor_pastor, and that's 5PHI_pastor, or at Centers for Wellbeing, that is CT RWSB, and you can find me there on IG, on LinkedIn, same thing, first and last name there, and check us out. We're glad to connect with you in those spaces. You can also find me on the Ontegration platform too. We'll be getting back, putting out our devotions out there to be weekly. Check those out, as they'll hopefully they'll be enriching and bless your life and connect even more. And let me say thank y'all for letting me just bombard y'all's conversation. It's like I always walking down the yard, just bust up in a conversation.
Yeah. There's a spam call coming through, all ones. I'm taking that as I'm not going to answer it, but that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Bush, tell the people where they can connect with you, brother.
Man, you can find me on IG at official James Bush. You can look at me on web address. What's it called? Website at www.bushcounselingservices.com, or you know what, better yet, James Bush Nashville. Google me, you'll find me.
Already. So with that said, I gotta finish out with the Ontegration anthem. Let's let it roll.
1, 2, great, can't wait till it's too late. This is our chance, can't let it get away. Hey, I look in my brother's eyes and I see my purpose. I look in my sister's eyes and know what her worth is.